There's got to be some willingness to put in effort and hard work to see results.
Oh, in a full year, and that lets you save. Who cares?
Welcome to a brand new edition of Ageless Energy, where we talk about how to burn fat, increase energy, and balance hormones for women over 40. Over the past 20 years as a performance coach, I've worked with hundreds of women that have the exact same struggles you do. I hope to shine some light with this podcast on what can be the most challenging time of your life and let you know there is hope to find success with your health and what you're looking for. Please share and enjoy. I'm doing it. I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to do it. It's not like I want to do it. It's that I have to. You know how some people are like, I wish that I could speak my mind? I'm the opposite. I'm like, I wish I didn't feel like I had to speak my mind. This is going to be like a full-on rant. And here's the thing, I'm just like, it's frustrating when you hear these things, and I'm just going to share with you what I think. So if you feel like it's not my intention to insult you, but if you feel insulted, go ahead and jump off. But this is about the carnivore diet. And let me jump right in and explain how ridiculous the carnivore diet is. It is, without question, absolutely ridiculous to think that we should just eat one macro. Gotta move this back a little bit. I feel like it was a little bit close. The carnivore diet is absolutely ridiculous. It's the same as Ozempic. It's the same as Keto. It's the same as paleo. It's a quick fix fad that people are jumping on board with because you can see results in a short amount of time. And that's it. And the problem is that we fall in love with these quick fixes, and it absolutely destroys so many things, so many good things. Like, we are in the health and wellness world. We actually help people see sustainable results that will improve their life forever. And when you go and you jump on a fad like this, there's so many things ruined, probably for the rest of your life. And that is a bold statement, but it's true. So it was, what was that? Atkins, right? I think Atkins was the first non-carb type of diet. That was back in the day. As far as I know, people don't do Atkins anymore. So there was Atkins, and then I believe there was paleo, and then there was keto. That was the biggest fad. And now we have carnivore. And you can mix in Ozempic in there because I don't think Ozempic is any different. These are short-term promises that ruin so many lives. My gosh. And here's the thing, you're thinking, how could a diet ruin someone's life? When people come to us and they're so tired of all the fad diets they've tried because they don't work, they're called a diet for a reason. They don't work long term. And if you were to look at the root word or just the definition of a diet, it's a diet. It does its purpose. It's meant to give you short-term results because that's what a diet does, which is why it bothers me when people say, oh, you're dieting, or I don't do dieting. When we talk about our program or lifestyle or balancing macros, it's not a diet. It's like what we teach is very different than what other people do when they talk about dieting. So when it comes to any one of these fads, we see great results in a short amount of time, which is fantastic. And then what happens? We go back to our regular lifestyle and we start living the way we used to. We start eating the way we used to. In most cases, because these aren't sustainable. It's not sustainable to say I'm going to eat meat the rest of my life. Who's going to do that? What kind of havoc are you wreaking? Wreaking? I don't think that's the word I'm looking for. You are wreaking havoc on your digestive system. Your body is working overdrive because you weren't meant to just eat meat. And if you were meant to just eat meat years ago or generations ago, your body's not meant for that now. I can guarantee it. And if you've been eating a combination of the macros for most of your life, and now you're like, just gonna eat one now, what do you think is gonna happen to your body? So let me go back to how damaging this is. When people come to us and they've been through all the different fad types of diets out there, they're so frustrated. and they're so broken and they're so mentally destroyed from these fad diets. And I'll tell you something even worse. This breaks down your metabolism at the core level. You need a metabolism. Your metabolism is meant to protect your body. So when you drop body weight and you're dropping 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds in a short amount of time, your metabolism is going bonkers trying to protect yourself, but you're doing something to your body that's not natural. So you're working against it. So here's what happens. A lot of people come to us and they're like, hey, I've dropped 40 pounds on keto. And then I'm like, what happened? Well, they're like, well, I gained it all back. That's why I'm here. And I'm like, so what do you expect from us? And they say, well, I dropped 40, 50 pounds in a couple of months with keto. And I'm like, that's not going to happen here because this is a sustainable lifestyle choice that we believe in and that we teach. So here's the problem is that most people will not commit to long-term once they've seen great short-term results. And they'll never stop searching for that for the rest of their life. And I'm not saying there's no hope for you. I'm just saying it's very rare someone is willing to put in the long term. So someone gets off keto and now you can look at carnivore or any of the past ones I just mentioned, and they're going to see great results in a short amount of time. Then they're probably going to have digestion issues. You could look at from kidney to liver. You could look at acid reflux, indigestion, putting your body in an acidic state all the time. That's a very bad thing. You have a weakened immune system. You have a weakened state of being, sniffles, headache, diarrhea. Like it's across the board what your body goes through when you put it in some sort of starvation mode. And then on top of that, we have people that are mentally, like I would almost say mentally handicapped, like mentally destroyed. Like they have no concept of what could actually benefit them. So when they come into a program and they don't see results in a short amount of time, they jump off. And then they go find another one. And they don't really commit because they don't really believe it's going to work for them as well as whatever past they did that saw such great results in a short amount of time. And if they don't see that, they're off again and trying something else. So coming back to your metabolism, here's what we hear. A lot of people say, I tried keto before, lost 40 pounds. Tried it again, lost 20 pounds. Tried it again, lost 10 pounds. Now it doesn't work for me, right? Because that's your metabolism saying, hey, no more. Stop doing this to me. When our metabolism kicks in, here's what happens, what we see. Someone sees great results. So early on, maybe they lose 10, 12, 15 pounds in a short amount of time within a month, 6 weeks. And they're like, wow, this is amazing. And then they start to level off a bit because their metabolism kicks in and starts protecting your body like it should be. And then you see them lose less. It could be 8, 7, 5, 2 pounds. And they're like, hey, what's going on? This isn't working anymore. And I'm like, yeah, it is. Your body's protecting itself so you don't lose weight too fast. And so so once your body starts to strip a certain amount of visceral fat, that's the body fat that you don't want. It starts to eat away at the muscle because you're starving yourself and your body's trying to protect itself because it needs that fat to survive. That body fat helps warm your body. It helps insulate your body. It helps your blood flow. Like we need a certain amount of body fat. And once your body starts losing too much body fat, it starts to eat at your muscle mass. And what happens to your muscle mass? It starts to disintegrate. And you know what I'm talking about. You've seen those people that like probably jumped on board with Ozempic, or they probably had that, I forget what that surgery is called, they put the ring in there so you can't eat any food. How well does that work out? Or how many people do you know that's tried that, lost a bunch of weight and gained it all back, right? Because they don't go in for the maintenance of that ring that they need to keep shrinking. Because who wants to go do that on a regular basis? No one. That's not sustainable either. And the thing that bothers me is that there are real programs out there that could show you real results. But it's these things. It's these things that fire me up, and these things that destroy our perception of reality of what's actually healthy and what isn't. So when you continue to jump on these fad diets and you tell your friends about it, you're only contributing to the problem. To me, it's the same thing as the pills, potions, powders. It's the same thing as those ridiculous gummy worms where people post, hey, do you want to lose 20 pounds by eating gummy worms only? And here's the worst part of it, posting for a friend. So then I called someone out one time, like, oh, what's going on? Like that seems like an odd post for you. And they're like, oh, I'm just doing that for a friend. And I'm like, you are willing to compromise everyone on your friends list, everyone on your social media page, your friends, family, everyone that has any trust in you, you're willing to compromise that for a friend so they can make a few extra dollars? That's what I think. Like if someone posts that, I think it's ridiculous. And I think more about that person, why they would post that. And it's the same thing when you look at this. Like we know people on Ozempic that are losing like an obscene amount of weight in a short amount of time. So what do other people think? They think that, wow, that's fantastic. They're doing so well. Why don't I just do that? So that you on Ozempic losing so much weight, you're not doing anyone a favor, especially yourself, by feeling like you should share that with your friends and family. Yeah, another bold statement. But here's the thing, like you think you're doing something good for your health because all that body weight is not good for you, right? It's detrimental to your health. But Ozempic in particular is detrimental to your health. And losing weight in a short, like a lot of weight in a short amount of time is detrimental to your health. What's worse on your mindset is you can't be on Ozempic forever without side benefits. Or do you want to pay for Ozempic forever? And then what happens when you get off it? It's the same thing as the shake diet. These ridiculous companies, they put you on 2 shakes a day and they let you eat 1 time. And usually and then you have some packaged meals in between there. They're not meals in quotation marks. They have a bunch of nonsense. The ingredients are filled with sucralose, maltodextrin, a bunch of genetically modified nonsense. So they get put in packages as quick as possible. And then you nutrient deprive, you calorie deplete to lose weight on a diet. And then what happens when you go off that program? You gain it all back. But to me, it's like, what did you think was going to happen? There was no teaching or little teaching or very little education of what happens afterwards, which also bothers me about these weight loss types of programs. Well, first of all, they're helping you lose weight so fast you're losing body fat or you're losing muscle mass. And when you lose muscle mass, your bones become weaker. Your body becomes weaker. So when I said earlier, you know what I'm talking about when you see those people that have lost too much weight and they look sick, they look ill, they don't look healthy, they just look like they lost a lot of weight and their face is saggy and they got black things under their eye. Do you think that's healthy? Do you want to be that person? Because you could be if you're willing to put your body through that much stress. But think about the future. What's going to happen to that person afterwards? And the problem is that we have such a short vision or short-sighted on what's going to happen to us. Like, what kind of example are you setting for a child, for example? Like, oh, I want them to I want them to see me healthy and fit and a little bit less like not weighing so much. But you're not healthy and you're not fit. And to me, you're just taking the easy way out. You're saying, I'm not willing to put in the time and effort and manage expectations that like, okay, think about someone that comes to me after they've been on Ozempic or they jumped on Keto or Carnivore for 2 months. They lost 40 pounds. And then that stops working because their metabolism does its job and says, hey, enough is enough. And they start gaining that weight back. Or they go back to the regular lifestyle and they start eating regular food again, which is a good thing, but their body doesn't know what to do with it. Body can't metabolize it. Can't break it down. Your digestive system is upside down, so you can't break down any food. And then you have gas, bloating, indigestion, acid reflux, and then you come to me. And I say, if you want to see any real results after putting your body through that, you're looking at a minimum of 6 months to a year. And they're like, whoa, I thought this was like a 90-day kind of thing. 21-day fix, 90-day, not interested. I'm out, right? Something else that bothers me about those types of programs is there's no education. Like they don't teach you what's happening. It's like, okay, just eat meat. Great. What a great idea. All you're doing is cutting out processed food and refined sugar and simple carbs and complex carbs. Well, of course, you're cutting out fats, fiber, etc. Right? But you're just eating the meat. If you were to eat a balanced diet, just say this I'd love to do this as an experiment. Just eat a balanced diet with no simple carbs and no refined sugar. And you can still have your veggies. You can still have your protein. You can still have your fat. I could guarantee you would get great results. But people have this mindset of like, I've got to join something. I've got to be a part of something. Everyone, like this person did this keto thing. This person did that carnivore thing. If they saw results like that, I can do it too. Having no concept of what's happening to your body. And then we have at an alarming rate, we have people that are getting their gallbladder removed. And the doctor's like, you don't need that anyways. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I think you need that. That wasn't just randomly put in your body. It's frustrating. It really is. So if you were to understand food at a deeper level, and if you look at the macros, now if you're not sure of the macros, we teach 4 macros. So we teach fats, carbs, proteins, and the one I always say, the forgotten amount macronutrient, or the lost macronutrient, is antioxidants or fiber, which is vegetables, right? So if you balance those 4 macros, you will see great results in a healthy and sustainable manner. So when you go on something like carnivore diet, that is not sustainable because it's not the world we live in. We don't live in a world of everywhere you go, you can just get a steak or you can just get some boiled eggs. Like, you're going to carry those in your car for the rest of your life, right? So here's my problem. And I went from ranting to helping because I feel like there needs to be some better education. There needs to be some help for some people. Like, look, just think about it for a moment. Reconsider. What is going to happen? You lost 25, 45, 65 pounds just eating meat. Because there is no education or understanding around macros, what do you think is going to happen when you start to eat carbs again? When you start to implement fats again? When you decide that's too hard to continue to just eat meat, because at first it's going to be the honeymoon stage, right? This is great. Dropping a bunch of weight. Love me some steak. Nothing wrong with bacon. After that stage, when things get a little bit more challenging, you start to implement. And then you go to a friend's house and all they have is pizza. And then you go to a birthday party and there's cake. And then you go to a Stampede breakfast and there's pancakes and French toast. Like, what's going to happen? You're going to gain that weight back. And the worst part is that there's no control or understanding of what carbs to eat at what times of day, how to prepare those carbs, where to buy those carbs, how to clean those carbs, right?
One of the things I would like to ask of you guys is that some of you know that I don't run ads on the show and don't plan on in the immediate future. So the only ask I have for you is that you help us spread the word so we can help more women burn body fat, increase energy, and balance their hormones. And the only way that we can do that is if you can rate and review this podcast. So the single thing that I could have you do or could ask of you is to leave a review. It'll take 5 minutes or one swipe of the thumb. It would mean the absolute world to me. And more importantly, you could change the world for someone else. As many of you know, there's plenty of women that struggle in this age group for balancing hormones, increasing energy, and burning body fat. So if you could help spread the word, that would make a big difference in our life and probably someone else's as well.
If there was a better education, and there is things like, there are programs like ours out there that would teach something more sustainable, more natural, to give you a better understanding. So if that doesn't interest you at this time, consider the long term and what your plan is. Because at some point, you're going to go back to reality and you're going to start eating like you used to eat, which got you to that point, unless you learn more about food. And throwing on a steak or cutting out all carbs completely, at least in my opinion, it's not going to get you there. It's not going to be the education that you need. It's not going to get you the long-term goals that you're looking for. Anyone can diet. Anyone can diet and see great results if you're willing to restrict calories, if you're willing to put your body in starvation mode, if you want to lack nutrients. We can starve ourselves to see great results in a short amount of time. In fact, I would say a good part of the population has dieted and saw good results. And I say good results, 20 to 40 pounds. I'd say that's good results. But very few people can keep that off. And I feel like the problem is A, people aren't willing to join a program or embark on that journey knowing it's going to be longer term. And B is there's too much nonsense out there. There's too many carnivore diets, paleo diets, keto diets. And I should say that with a grain of salt because there are good things about each. There's worthwhile benefits to living in a ketosis state. There's benefits to that and how it originated through kids going through epilepsy. There's benefits to that. There's also benefits to a carnivore type of diet. There's benefits to that. The problem is that we are just looking for quick fixes. And because so-and-so lost a bunch of weight, I got to do it too. And so-and-so jumped on Ozempic, I got to do it too. And then someone sends you a picture of someone that looks fantastic in a bikini. And they're like, oh, they did Ozempic. And I'm like, really? That's all they did? They have abs and they didn't work out? They didn't put any effort in it. They just at all. If there was one pill like Ozempic that worked long term without the detriments that come along with it, everyone would be on it. Everyone would be on it. It doesn't exist. And the problem is that you're not going to be doing something, not going to be able to do something like that long term. So maybe the argument is, okay, I'll do that short term and then I'll jump on something else that's a bit more sustainable. You won't, because you have that short term mindset that says, I only have to put in a minimal amount of effort in a short amount of time to see great results. So anything sustainable doesn't offer either of those two things. So what's going to happen is you're going to continue to jump on diet after diet for the rest of your life. Your mindset is going to be mangled because you have zero perception of what hard work actually is to see results. And nothing is going to be good enough because nothing is going to be as quick as what you originally did. So when I see people lose a lot of weight in a short amount of time, I am actually very sympathetic to them. I think to myself, my gosh, what's going to happen to them in a few months or a few years? Because I know what's going to happen. I know how many people come to us that have been through yo-yo dieting and are so tired. And I know how hard it is for us to put them through metabolic priming and get their metabolism back, set up, and pieced together properly. That takes much more time and effort than someone that's never yo-yo dieted or has done it once or twice. But in most cases, we see people coming over that have gone through a half a dozen different diets or the same one over and over again. It's too hard. Like it's hard enough. Like this world we live in is not set up for health. It is set up to be on medication. It is set up to be depressed, upset, living in a job that you hate. That's the world. Like that's our reality. The only way to get out of that is stop doing what everyone else is doing. The only way you can do that is to get out of the matrix and start understanding that you have to put in the effort. Like where is the grind in people? Where's the hard work? Like how has that disappeared in a generation or two? That we're so unwilling to put in the effort it takes to meal plan or to actually get some workouts in. It's like, it's disappeared. Like I remember my grandmother would work endless hours in a garden and she would make pasta homemade. She would make quilts by hand. And now we live in a generation of it's weakness. It's soft. And I know that's going to hit people in the wrong way. I'm not trying to insult you, but just think about it. For example, we're just looking for quick fixes. And that's not like, I don't want my child to grow up in a world like that where he's not willing. There's so many people unwilling to put in the effort. He's not either. He's like, well, no one else is. So what am I doing? Why would I put in the effort? Think about the examples you're providing for your kids and the next generations, if that'll make a difference for you. Because it's a scary world to be in. If all we're doing is looking for quick fixes and nothing's sustainable and we can't see anything through. Like no one commits to long term. Like people hardly commit to showing up at a dinner date or a family gathering. Think about that. Like people used to get a job and that was their job for the rest of their life. I mean, I think we live in a great world now where you can thrive and grow and it's not like an indentured servant where you're stuck in one position forever, right? We don't live in the medieval times, but at the same time, there's got to be some loyalty. There's got to be some grit. There's got to be some willingness to put in effort and hard work to see results. Because otherwise, I don't know. Otherwise, I have no idea. We just keep going down this. We have never had more education, better supplements, better pharmaceuticals, more health practitioners in history, but we've never had a weaker society when it comes to health and wellness, immune system, medication. It's crazy to me. It's just a crazy thought to think that our health as a society continues to get worse. There's more obese people. There's more depressed people. More people are passing away, shockingly, from unknown reasons, right? Right. You know what I'm talking about. So think about that. Hopefully that offers some insight. And hopefully that didn't offend too many of you. That's all I have. Catch you on the next one.